Hi, I'm Stephanie Woodard, and I'm briefly going to go over how to use Nearpod. First thing to know is Nearpod is free, so to find it, just Google Nearpod, create a free account. The free account allows you up to 40 students per session and up to 100 megabytes of storage, which seems like it's a lot, but if you're using a lot of pictures and things like that, you may run out of space. The gold version has up to a gigabyte of storage, and you can have 75 students per session. It is $10 a month and it is reimbursable. So if you are interested in that, there are other ones as well. There are platinum and school district version. I don't know much about those. So once you find Nearpod, and I have two screens set up, one is just a basic 5-slide presentation, and that's just PowerPoint. And on the right is the Nearpod interface. So once you create an account and log in, I'm going to actually go back to what the interface looks like right when you log in. And you will create a presentation. To do that, you click this drop down tab and you can click lessons here to create a presentation. I've already done that. So just so that we can, for the sake of time, to show you how it works. So I'll go to the presentation that I created. Once you get there are two ways you can create a presentation, or you can make a presentation in Nearpod. One is to completely create it within Nearpod, which I've never done that because you can add slides just like PowerPoint. To me, it's easier just to go ahead and make it in PowerPoint and then upload it into Nearpod. So I'm going to go over doing it that way. And to do that, once you open up a presentation, you click this upload files, or you can just drag and drop it in. And then you select it by going into this tab, finding your presentation, and then uploading it. One thing to note, it does have a limit of 20 megabytes to upload. However, if you compress your PowerPoint, or if you remove the large pictures or videos from your PowerPoint, you can upload it and then move them back in once it's in Nearpod. The size limit though is 20 megabytes. So here are the basic slides that I added. You'll notice there are several more. I'm going to go over those. So in order to do a more interactive presentation, one, if you wanted to add a activity or slide, you go in between the slide and just basically click on it. And I'm using a Mac, so it's just a single click. You can either add a content or an activity. So I'm not real sure about some of the contents. One is a slide like we talked about. It functions just like PowerPoint. And then I've used some of these, but they're not really helpful as far as I've found for making a presentation. So the ones that I typically use are quiz, draw it, collaborate board, poll, and fill in the blanks. You can try these yourself. I've used several of them, and I have them listed here, and I'll go over the ones that are what I've found to be the most helpful. So draw it is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. You can convert a slide to draw it. I'm going to move this down a little bit by highlighting on the slide, and I'll click one that I haven't converted, and then you select this button up here that says convert to draw. Basically what that does, I'm going to open up one that I've already converted, is it presents your slide to the learner and allows them to make marks, annotate. You can give instructions as far as what you want them to do with the slide, and you can make an image as well. So that's one way to alter some of your slides to make them more interactive. The second thing that I use a lot is quiz. So this is one that I've created, and I put some annotations in here, but I'll go ahead and create another one just to show you. So if I want to add a slide that's a quiz, I can go ahead and go to add activity, select the quiz tab. You can enter your questions. So just basically type in some letters here, and you can add answers very easily. So I usually add about 4 or 5 answers. You can put an image if you wanted to put, if I wanted to put an ultrasound image in and say, name this lesion, something simple. And then you select the correct answer. So that helps the learner whenever they answer the question. You can allow them to see if they have the correct answer or whatnot. Then you save it. You can even add several questions, or you can just put one question in between slides. Matching pairs is kind of interesting. So I'll show you what that is. And I already created this because it takes a little bit of time and I wanted to show you how it works. So you can put your instructions, match the two things that go together, and then the learner matches them and submits them to you. And this is kind of fun because it allows them to match the items that go together. So it's very it's different and interactive for the learners. Collaborate board is something that I have used a lot, and that basically I like to use this when I'm switching topics in a talk. So you can put breast ultrasound as the topic, name some common lesions seen in breast ultrasound, and put a picture here. And then the learners can all submit different things, different ideas that they have. Kind of starts jogging their memory before you get into that topic. And there are different ways you can use it. They can also like each other's comments and things like that. So that's kind of a fun way. Um, to show you just another thing that you can do or another activity, there are polls that you can use when you put a poll in. I've done this before with residents that I may, if I haven't met them yet, or if I'm giving a talk somewhere else and I want to know how many people have how many rotations each resident has had through mammography. I've asked that question, how many rotations have you had in mammography? And then put the answer at 1, 2, 3 rotations, just so I can get an idea. And then that poll will pop up and show me. So that's another way that you can add something in for the learners. So those are just some of the features. Once you're done with your presentation, you save and exit. And when you're ready to present, you go to live presentation. To preview your presentation, you can click this tab that'll take you through what the learners see. And I would always do this before you give a presentation so that you're aware of how it looks to the learner. And once you're ready to, on the day of the lecture or the presentation, you click that live presentation, and then this will be the room code for the learners to get in. It'll always be at the top left-hand side of the screen. And then this is what they see. If you notice, I'm going to move this out of the way. At the bottom left, this is how many participants you have. These are the number of slides you have. And then you can either hide or show the students' names. If you don't want them to see each other's names when they submit answers to questions, then I would hide their names. This is what it will look like as you're going through. This is what you'll see. This is a draw it slide. So when they submit the answers, they'll actually pop up. Their slide will pop up with their answers. Again, another draw it screen. When this is one of the quizzes, so when the students answer the questions, they'll pop up here and you'll see who answers what. And again, if you have multiple questions, then you'll have that happen with multiple slides in a row. Once you're finished, another cool thing about Nearpod is you can actually have a report of the correct and incorrect answers. So when you give the presentation a year later, you can go back and see what questions people had problems with. So that's another thing that I've really found helpful, is that I can see what the most problematic topics were and what was more helpful, what it seems like everybody has a really firm grasp at what I may not need to cover so much. So that's the basics of Nearpod. I'm always available to answer any questions if I can. There are probably a lot of people here that know a lot more about Nearpod than I do, but I hope that this helped if you're interested in using it.